Yeah.
Well, it is after 6, so I figured.
This is true.
Be out there can see. They can't see. So both Greg has to crane his neck and Steve can't see it all. It's kind of,
I can't do this. Yeah. Side.
wanna go with that?
Yeah. That's fair. Did we adjust the camera?
We could have, I thought.
Let's see
It
if it
seems
works.
to me we should be able to turn the camera, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right, just the whole thing. Yeah, so now you can turn the screen. Come here, baby, honey.
Is that the right direction?
Now you have to turn the camera again. Try it.
The dog on my foot.
She's gonna trip on these wires. Vivian, come here. Vivian, you. Let's see, I guess I can, well, as long as she doesn't go out of the room.
Whoa. A little bit too much. Okay, get patent picture. How's that?
Can't see Pat. Just her papers.
Well, if she keeps it down, you might be able to see her.
Who wants to see her?
Can't see Pat.
You're right, can't see that.
There you go.
Of course,
That's better. Now we can.
is Paul coming?
No, he's sick.
Ah,
Vivi,
So the gang here is going to be. And let's call the meeting to order, a little bit, more than a little bit late. That's 6:07. Additions or deletions to the agenda? Did you want to add?
What was it I wanted to add?
I'm
Hmm,
trying to remember.
was it, you got ARPA on there. Was it,
What was
maybe
it?
potential change, requesting change in speed limit? Was that it?
If that was it.
And,
Do we have anything, we have it to talk about it?
zoning ideas. But not
nobody
tonight.
from highways here. I mean, I can just briefly mention
Yeah.
my conversation with them, and I dredged up that old list that we had.
Okay,
Joel, did you call the meeting to order?
I did.
Excellent, thank you.
We're on additions and deletion.
Very good.
So I propose that we add that to the agenda, which if you didn't hear it, was a discussion of speed limit changes. And have both of those items added to the end of business.
what's the other one?
The ones
What is
there,
that written on the agenda?
yeah, and the CAC secretary one.
Oh. Gotcha.
Okay, anything else?
Oh, I didn't copy the new agenda.
Privilege of the floor. Is anyone who'd like to address the board? Either they're here or in our Zoom audience.
You can show my face. I don't really want to say anything.
Is that Ted Crane? Yes. Ted, if you'd like, now's the time.
yeah. I couldn't help but to notice that you are considering a contract with the West Danby Community Association.
Mhm.
And so I have a couple of questions in the light of the events of the, I believe it was May 4th meeting, early May meeting. In the light of that, I have to ask you, is this an organization? Does it have bylaws? Is it incorporated? Does it have any status? Or are you effectively just signing a contract with an individual? Second, have you examined the financial records of this organization? Third, is there any potential of a conflict of interest here? Is a member of this organization also a member of the town board? If so, it would probably be good for that member to do what I recall Frank Krupa doing one time when he was involved with an issue. And that was to recuse himself, step away from the table and sit in the back of the room. Basically, I'm curious whether you will treat all fee-for-service agreements the same, with the same scrutiny.
Hold an office in that organization.
No, I am on the steering committee. Anything else?
No, well, I wanted to, I could thank Mariah for including in great detail in the minutes my comments from the previous meeting.
Okay,
Rhonda?
Rhonda,
Well, I wasn't planning on saying anything, but since Ted brought it up, I have had considerable discussion with the state over the Danby seniors, and they are being considered a group by the state, even though they don't have any bylaws and their operation is rather loose and informal and that sort of thing. Against my better judgment, the state considers them to be a group, which is why the town of Danby can give taxpayers dollars to these people to take trips. And in the discussion that we had was that it's kind of a little bit like the activities that the town has for children. And so it's considered to be something that's used by the certain individuals by the town. But Ted was not aware that I had also written to the town board just the other day and said that I was opposed to the Danby seniors taking the money that was given by the town board, which was, I think, $5,000 or something like that, maybe even $7,000, and using it for trips when the cost of the trips is, some of those trips are so expensive that it really just, in my opinion, discriminates against individuals of a certain income class in the town. So people are definite, just a certain group of people are benefiting. There's also another issue that I didn't bring up, but I will bring it up here so that we lay all the cards on the table. Both of the town justices are members of that group. And the state ethics commission allows individuals who are judges to be members of civic organizations. That's what they call them, civic organizations. But there should be a very little or rare chance that any of the members of the organization would ever come before the judge for a decision. Now, so I think that the judges would say, well, we have, we can always move the issue to another town, like I've been to court, moved from one location to another.
You'll have to be quick here because you're already past your
Okay.
3 minutes.
And so, you know, you can move the case if you want to get it out, but that sort of negates the whole purpose of having two town justices, in my opinion. So I think that the town ought to require the organization to be more formal and have bookkeeping and be more open. And I suggested that the money that comes from the town be made available to people of low income so that they could use that money to go on some of these trips instead of being left out.
Mhm. Heard that. The contract specifies what the money is to be used for. That's part of the point of having an agreement with the group. Gary?
He's muted still.
Yeah, you're muted, not to mention invisible. But I do see your hand up, like you want to say something. No? Okay.
Gary, are you there?
I'm here. Oh, I'm here now. It wouldn't let me unmute. I guess I just don't know, what Rhonda's getting at about both the judges being members of the seniors. So what? I guess I don't understand that. We can be members of anything, the fire department, anything, as long as we're not in holding a position where we're collecting any money or making any of the rules. So I guess I just don't know where she's coming from on that. But
You and I are reading different laws, I guess.
No.
I know what the laws are.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
But that's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks. And Ted's already spoken.
If I may add a very brief point, and based on the discussion between you and Rhonda, I noticed that in the agreement with the
discussion,
West
actually,
Danby
from the-
Community Association, there is no itemization of what the funds may be spent on. It seems extremely vague to me. Again, by comparison to the way that a previous organization was asked for this very specific information, this seems to be somewhat of a
I never got it.
difference. Excuse me there, I couldn't hear you.
Right. There is a list of things that the group typically does.
Yes, but it isn't, but that is extremely vague in that it doesn't say that
It's
what
not
the money
limited to
is to
those
be
things,
spent
it's
for.
true. Well, and the probability is that it may not do any more than one of those things this year, so we'll see how it goes.
The board can
Don't
do
speak for the
whatever.
organization while you're sitting at that table, Joel. I think it'd be bad practice.
Let's move on.
Anyway, anybody else with privilege of the floor?
Actually, I do.
Okay, yes, Pat.
I feel it's important to respond to the July 1 comments by Ted Crane about the Danby Town News. One major purpose of the town news is to keep town residents informed about how their tax money is used. This includes information about all organizations that request and receive funds from the town. That category includes the Danby Community Park Association, which certainly explains why the official public notice about this meeting should have been and was included in the Danby Town News.
Okay. Okay. Any correspondence, Mariah?
No.
Okay, that's an interesting time to lay.
Okay, will the Danby Town News now be listing all the meetings of the
We
West
stopped
Danby
it. This is
Community
not.
Association?
No, stop. Stop.
Why can I not?
Well, they'd better, according to what Pat just said.
What I'm saying,
No.
what I'm asking is myself is how come I can't mute Ted Crane?
Right.
Because I would be if you could.
Oh,
I'll do it
You
for
should
you.
not be free to interject.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joel.
But I couldn't.
I know. Thank you for trying and
Yeah.
saying.
Any announcements, Mariah?
Yes, I do have an announcement. The town clerk's office did hire someone to help with documents, and that person started today. His name is Blake Savoy, and I think he's gonna work out great.
like what?
Savoy.
Boy. As in the cabbage? Terrific. Dan Klein isn't here. Keith has COVID.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
not another one.
Oh.
We have the town clerk
Yes, he
report.
does, and we have another employee there who had it too. So I don't know what's happening there, but what they're doing, they're just following the protocol of, when their symptoms kind of die down, they just throw a mask on, come back to work.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We have the town clerk's report in writing and the court officer's report as well. And Steve here, if you have any questions. Look good to me. Meeting minutes.
I move we
Oh,
approve the July 21, July 1, and July 15 town board meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Nope, looks good.
Okay, Mariah?
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson.
No, he's not here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon me. Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the warrants.
Okay.
That's the correct information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll move the general fund. Feel like I need a loudspeaker.
Yeah, well, it picks up pretty well. Like,
Voucher 235 through
47.
247 for $12,270.20.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Okay, Mariah?
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon. Thank
Move
you.
The highway, welcome.
No, keep going.
I'll move the highway fund vouchers 129 through 137 for $87,444.23.
second.
Any discussion? Okay,
My water, there it is.
Connors,
vote.
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move the water district, vouchers 22, for $110.
second.
That sounds fun.
Controversy about the grass mowing? Get the vote.
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wow, you guys work fast. I had to go to my door quick. Did I miss anything? Did you guys have questions that I wasn't
No.
watching? You guys were
don't-
fast.
You don't have COVID, do you?
No.
Good. She's recovered from whatever it was,
Spent hours down there. the other
whatever
day.
rot she had last week.
Yeah.
The easement grant, moving to business. So what this is about is, they're putting utility interface in, which we agreed would have happen the other side of the creek.
Yeah,
They gotta get the wire to them, you know, and the pole they're putting up needs a brace, and the brace falls on our property. So there's guy wire that needs to come from that pole down, and they need an easement to do it. It involves cutting a couple of limbs off the back side of that, not the back side, back from here, the north side of the last honey locust in the row.
right here. Tree on the
Yeah,
Yeah,
side of the road.
yeah.
And where's the wire gonna go?
It's just it's gonna go from the pole down to,
By the
Um,
tree?
yeah. Just basically almost right next to the trunk, you know, a couple of 3 feet out.
And this side or the roadside? This side of the tree?
So it's parallel to the road.
Yeah, but the tree, is it between the tree and the road or this side of the tree?
It's between the tree and the drive that goes back.
Driveway. Okay,
You know, because the pole's on their land, right?
just doesn't
Yeah,
look,
the pole's on the other side of on their easement, but
Right.
the brace for the pole needs to go on our land. So then you need an easement to put it there. The guy wire to hold the pole.
and you already checked, I saw you out there looking. at the
Yeah,
branches.
so did it clarify the location of it? On the, you wanted to have it on the,
It's on the map that you sent us.
yeah, but the specific location wasn't
Right.
it's not,
included.
You know, I just added it and they said that looks fine. This, the word showing was a 5 by 10.
It's only, yeah, 5 by 10. 5 feet wide, 10 feet long, just enough for the wire to go down.
I move we approve the easement grant to NICEAG for that thing.
I'll second it and then we discuss it. if we
Right.
need.
Yeah, sure. Discussion? What is that?
The tree's not gonna be compromised a
It
lot.
it won't hurt the tree. I mean, it doesn't enhance its appearance any.
Right.
But there's almost a gap where they want to do it. It's just that there's one branch that's too far over. Take it out. It probably won't much show from the road,
Mhm,
and even from here, it's not that conspicuous.
right. Well, the only things that would bother me is if it meant that would hurt the tree.
That's what I was concerned
and
about too.
Compromise the,
It might be more of an issue where they want to put the anchor, because the anchor is only a few feet from the trunk.
yeah.
But do they drive those or screw those?
I'm sure.
I would say they should know the most about the risks of something that's gonna pull up a tree and knock the wires down. If anybody should, they should. I mean, that would be,
Yeah, and I mean, the driver here is that the pole needs to be braced.
yeah, I got that.
And,
But the whole thing would be, if they didn't do it and it all came up, then there would be a problem with the pole too. If it pulled out of the ground. I mean, I'm just saying.
if they didn't anchor
Yeah,
it
if
properly,
they
I mean,
didn't-
yeah, they're experts
and
at
if
that kind of, that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if it disturbed the roots enough, then that's all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
they should know what they're doing.
Yeah,
One would hope.
I think it's far enough away from the trunk. that it's
I have a
probably
lot of
okay.
those guy wires by my,
Yeah.
on the pipeline. I have one right next to the house, one down May.
It's screwed into the ground.
Yeah,
I thought it was a screw anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be fun trying to screw it there, you know, with the root flare right there. But we'll let them worry about that.
yeah.
So any additional discussion? I think you're feeling fine. Those trees desperately need pruning, but it's another discussion.
so the easement is for a 5 by 10.
Essentially just enough to get the wire down.
Where is that in here? That in here somewhere?
It is in the,
I think the language describes it, doesn't it?
10 feet down to a.
yeah, the change is
Here it is. right
10, yeah, 10
Mhm.
feet.
here. All right. Righty.
Okay,
I saw 5 feet, the easement is,
That's right.
releases 5 feet in width,
It's also right at the
and then
bottom.
down in here, yeah.
Okey-doke.
okay, the vote, Mariah,
Connors,
Yes,
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
yes,
Thank you.
the WDCA agreement.
I move we approve the WDCA agreement.
I'll second that.
Now that we've done the, what we were told by the auditors when they did the audit back a ways, is that we should not be dispensing town funds without an agreement with the organizations with which we do it. It's not required for the organizations to be incorporated. The West End Community Association is an organization. It does have bylaws. And it has officers. Joanne Powers is the current chair. And the group is marginally active at this point because it went dormant with
Yeah.
COVID and it's struggled to do anything. I think they did the picnic last year, it was the only thing they did. And it may be the only thing that happens this year too. In which case, the whole $600 appropriation won't get spent, but that's not a problem. But there's, the list of things that it can do includes everything it has done in the past.
okay. And it describes what they provide to the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
The organizational purpose is essentially to promote interaction.
Oh, you read this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did we move it already?
Yes,
Yep,
and we
second.
talked about it.
Okay.
And ready for,
And I know in the discussion last time, it sounded like there was some concern that the seniors agreement may
It's very
have some
similar.
miswording
yeah,
on the
it's-
second page, but it didn't.
well, I mean, there are a couple of places
I went
where
and
it
looked.
refers to, because it was based on the seniors agreement where we missed there was one place that it said Danby Seniors instead of West Danby Community Association. And then UCOT, there was one place that actually said Danby Community Park Association. 'Cause
Right.
that language came from the Park Association agreement.
Right,
Somehow
right.
that didn't get
But I
changed.
looked at the
But all
seniors
that got-
agreement and it was okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
So this, anyway, it got fixed, so
Yeah.
it should be
No,
okay now.
No, it is. It's fixed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
Yes, Mariah,
Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
yes,
Gagnon.
yes.
Thank you.
And I would note with appreciation that I was assured at the meeting, at the Museum of the Earth, that the combined organization, even before combined, that the community, Danby Community Council would still be able and willing to provide liability insurance coverage for the picnic.
Ah,
Because otherwise we would have to make some other arrangements.
right.
ARPA update. Laura has nicely produced for us here we are in the process summary. And we are at this point, down to a remaining $83,000 or so. That's not already committed or spent,
right.
with several possible ways to spend it. And we don't have, well, let's see. Laura, I believe, is prepared to talk to us about the pros and cons of the solar array purchase. Didn't say anything to it.
I said good, but I didn't
Yeah.
What's
say
that?
anything else.
Laura. There she is. Did you send us something about that? I don't remember looking at it,
Send what?
about the solar array, because she was doing an analysis of the, present. of The financial
I didn't get
implications,
anything.
one way or the
I
other.
didn't see them.
You can't hear us?
You're muted.
You can't unmute herself.
Oh, do you have to unmute her?
There we go. Now she's
There.
unmuted.
Now, can you
Now,
guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Joel, I didn't, as I was saying, I haven't done a complete analysis of this yet, and I was just talking to Jim about it too. You know, we
Okay.
have options on this. You'll see that it's listed on here under other discussed projects to consider, because I know that there's still things we're looking into. The solar array purchase in the year 2026 would be $73,100. Now, keep in mind, we've already got 45,000 set aside, not in a dedicated reserve,
Right.
but it is, you know, we have been setting it aside as we've been going along, knowing that this is coming up. But, you know, here's the figures. In 2026, if we buy this, it will cost $73,100.
Mm-hmm.
5 years later, in 2031, at a 15-year-old buyout, year buyout, is 66,100. And 2036, which is 20 years, would be 55,500. I got to thinking, and I was talking to Jim about this a little bit too, and Joel. If we came up with an average amount that we pay Sunvestment, and I know that what it is that we've got to look at, we're still trying to gather information. And I know Jim has been making contacts too, of finding out, you know, what is involved in this? How often do they inspect it? What types of things do we have going on? We can come up with like a little differential here about how much per year we would be saving or not saving if we actually did this buyout. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if we've been constantly thinking about, okay, somebody else, we're leasing it from someone. They're responsible for the entire thing. Okay, anything goes wrong, they're responsible. And I know that that feeling of that is worth something. The thing is that I'd like to get maybe some figures together to get, you know, the average amount for some investment that we pay for the energy production. Of course, once we buy it, that bill goes away.
Right.
If you look at the amount we're putting out in cash for this, exactly how much of that is really going away? You know what I mean? I just have some figures I'd like to put together for the board to look at when trying to make that decision as to whether to do it in 2026 or 2031 or 2036. I'm not sure that we've really looked at that.
No, these are all
So
things that need. to be
That's
taken into
just a thought.
consideration.
I had just brought that up. It's warm. I had just brought that up, that, you know, to take a look at it. But I know that also Jim's been having, trying to contact Renovus and asking some questions. And I think he has somebody too, he's trying to gather information that could possibly come out and take a look at it the way that you wanted to take a look at it. But if the figures on this, this spreadsheet here, we would need $73,100. We've got 45 put away, which would mean out of the 83,000 that's left of the ARPA funds, you'll see that in the center of the sheet. We would need 28,100. Then there's that fuel monitoring system for the highway. We're not sure that we're really going to ask for that because there's some other big expenses that we're finding out as we're going through the different systems that are available now. And there are things on our pumps that need to be updated in order to accommodate one of these systems. So Jack's still looking. So if you want to put that on the back burner on the bottom of this list, instead of committing to anything with that, and then the entrance to the town hall, you'll see all my question marks and the possible acquisition of a couple of pieces of property all the question marks. So that's where we are with that. I don't know if Jim has anything to share about what he's been finding out about, from Renovus. I think he's tried.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to hear what Jim has to say. And I can't unmute you.
Who can?
Mariah,
Can Mariah do that?
yep.
Mariah. There.
There you go.
Hello, town board.
Hello.
So what I found out so far is I have a company that will come out and look at the system that's out there. And haven't been able to get any information on what the exact system is and what we purchased. And Renovus put it in, they haven't responded to my calls or emails. So I'm gonna go to Plan B with them. Laura's gonna take a look around some more to see if we have that information. I did get the contract, and I have the utility bills and things like that to go to pass over to the person to do analysis. But he wanted to get more information on the exact system and warranties and panels, and so you can see, you can dig in a little bit to see what the life expectancy is of the panels that are there to get more information. But I don't have any, the full information on the system, which we're trying to get.
So how, given that Renovus is unresponsive, how would you fill in the information gap?
I'll just try to go to Plan B to get the information from Renovus. Go through other channels to talk
Oh,
to.
okay. You have connections,
I'm sure.
I can't get them to respond to me either.
yeah. You try,
I'll talk
Not-
to a friend who works there.
Don't,
yeah,
Get some information.
they promise, but they don't call me back.
okay. And Laura's analysis can be gotten by the next meeting, maybe?
Absolutely, yes.
Bills.
I'll send it around, too. Even
Okay.
before that, so everybody can take a look at it and see what we mean. Getting that and then getting some figures about maintenance, etc., will give us a better idea.
So should we just scrap the idea of the fuel monitoring system?
Not yet.
Or
It
do we
just-
get, more specific figure on what?
Not
what's
yet, but I know
involved?
not yet, but I know one of the things that you guys are in hot pursuit of is what to do with that front entrance of that building. And right now, they're sitting there, they're 83,000. And we know how important that is to you guys. And we've already gotten some of that ARPA money into the highway. And this is a system that, we'll get back with you for a little bit, but is it a detrimental thing? No. Would the front entrance of your building be the most important thing above that? Yes.
Do we have any,
Where we are
knowledge
now,
on that one?
well, I mean,
You said you were gonna check with somebody.
right, and then I realized that I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. The two suggestions that came up were, well, so I talked to Zach, who's our facilities guy, and Zach was here tonight, said that he would try to get a couple of quotes so that we have some idea what it costs to do what Paul has drawn. Then it occurred to me that when we're looking at, say, well, who would be good to approach, that Steve would probably be a good person to consult about that, because he wasn't in, you have regular contact with masonry contractors and probably could steer Zach in the direction of who to ask.
Great.
Yeah, so that's where we are with that.
Likely, we get some 2 weeks.
No, well, I haven't even gotten plans yet. I'm waiting.
Oh, we have plans, I need to be.
Yeah, I mean. In the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you could arrange to meet them as soon as you get back.
Can you
that-
please
so that's
ask whoever's
comprehensive.
speaking to step up to the microphone? We can't hear.
Yeah, sorry about
I
that.
mean, another, a thing to throw at that is that if we find somebody who is willing and able to do some work, and they've got better ideas than we came up with, or other suggestions or landscape, none of us are landscape architects. I think, we could be open to altering that.
That's probably, yeah,
Can you,
I can't mute her either.
I can't mute her there, she,
Careful,
somebody
Jack.
did.
What you're saying.
The other possibility, and maybe Steve could do it, because with your contacts, you could maybe check it out.
I mean, have we tried like putting something in the Danby News? That we've got lots of local people who do that kind of work.
Well, not that many who specialize in concrete, but
Well,
I think we should
it
wait
doesn't
till-
even necessarily have to be concrete.
But we should wait
as far
until
as I'm
2
concerned,
weeks, see
but-
what we have in 2 weeks, because the news doesn't come out for another 3 weeks,
Right.
so it doesn't
it
matter now.
it
We
wouldn't
should
make
wait,
much difference anyway.
Right.
we should wait and see what
Right.
comes for next
I
week.
mean,
See what
it
Steve
doesn't
come up
have to
with.
be concrete.
No, it doesn't
maybe
have to be.
somebody-
A general contractor with that competence could also,
I
give
mean,
it
there's
a quote.
other ramp styles and materials.
Oh, you mean, it doesn't have to be a concrete
Right,
specialist? Yeah.
Right.
No, but what Paul, wrote up was mostly concrete with
Right.
with a blue
well,
stone
we may not
patio.
be able to find anybody who will say, I'll do that.
Well, I
But
think
they
we can
might
find
say,
somebody.
I'll do this.
Right.
This would look nice, or.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with being open to,
Yeah,
if somebody says, I have a better idea.
Right,
I can say,
right.
well, wasn't a real,
Just don't tell Paul.
yeah. I had another idea, but there wasn't.
I
much
know you
openness
did,
to it. We're open to it becoming somebody else. Anyway, if Steve can get at least some idea, when you know what the ballpark is, to have others do it, because what became clear is that Paul doesn't have the ability anymore to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And Zach either. So we have to farm it out,
Right.
basically.
Yeah. Nope,
That's where we are on that one.
okay,
Then we haven't made any moves. I could approach, we could approach, somebody could approach the Park Association about potentially acquiring the part of the park property that's non-park, that was originally intended for a community center. It became apparent that you couldn't do a community center probably because there wasn't enough land that wasn't wetland. But it does have the potential to be used for, like the skate park idea that we thought had, it would be a lot easier to do if it was a municipal property than if it was
Right.
owned by a 501c3.
all right. And there's
So-
also, have we made any headway at all talking to this
I
guy?
have trouble finding even who they're, well, Zach tried to contact, right?
No, that was address, but
it's somewhere, we have to.
I mean,
It
I
might be-
can go get it, I just am not gonna reach out to a
Yeah.
person through a person.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, nothing has been really done as far as trying to figure out who to approach about that property. And it could be done.
well, we ought to, well, if it's a reasonable amount, this may be. Can ARPA money be spent on buying
I
property?
believe so.
Okay, because I think originally it couldn't, but.
Yeah, originally it was
Okay.
limited to only a couple of things. It
Right.
had to be,
Okay,
I remember what the two limitations were. They were very restricted in the beginning, but then broadened out. So
Right.
basically, you can do practically anything
okay, so we
except
need to
operation.
try and get this information.
Yeah.
Next,
You want to try and
So-
do it?
what? Sure,
Because all we have is a property owner of record, but with the thought that that might not be the real controlling
right,
force,
right.
but you could check it out.
Yeah, all right,
And you're such a
yeah,
pleasant
right,
person, maybe
I know.
to say, well,
That's what everybody's,
take Leslie approach, then maybe.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, maybe, might be different.
not. Okay,
Okay, I'll follow up with Amanda. He evidently is on the verge of giving birth. So,
Amanda.
yeah, so it might not happen right away.
yeah,
I'll try. So that's good for that. Anything else that needs to be added? Can we go on?
I mean, depending on how this all pans out, there were also, if some of these aren't options, there was
For
a
fire.
number of sort of safety improvements for inside the building.
Right, Right,
that we
so
could still check out, like the, the doors to, maybe the doors to both, code and planner and,
yeah, there was that,
Uh,
there's the safety improvements for access to the town clerk's office,
right,
which
Right.
is a big one in my mind.
yeah,
The entry door itself and putting an actuator on it could be a separate project. If it comes to it, which is something Zach can handle. And be willing to do.
Installing the actuator.
Mhm, yeah.
okay,
Particularly if we don't replace the doors, but just add the actuator.
are the doors okay?
Well, thanks to Zach's superior repair ability, they seem to be working as intended.
That's different.
Yes, it is. It's been a long time since they worked properly.
Okey doke.
Right. Water district retirees recognition. When Carl retired, it was in the midst of COVID. And we never had a
Oh, right, yeah,
proper recognition of his retirement. And now Marge is just retired and Todd's just retired, so, the West Danby Community Association.
Yeah.
I think that's been, why don't we make the picnic an opportunity to recognize there's long service to the water district.
yeah,
And I'd like to have an accompanying, statement by the town board that could be, worked up, that would acknowledge their service and our gratitude for it. And so I wrote something which I shared with you, but not with the public, because it was a last minute kind of thing. Did you see it?
no,
That's it.
yeah,
So this is awfully last minute, so we might want to mess with it, but
when's the picnic, 24th?
24th. So we could, ideally, we would have whatever we want to say solidified so that we could have it worked up, ready to sign by us all, on the 19th, which would be timely. If we decide on the 19th what to do, then it kind of makes a last minute thing kind of out of it. But
Were you thinking of just saying something, or were you thinking of having?
yeah, well, I'm thinking of
little
having,
Framed plaque or?
well, no, we hadn't talked about it, but that we could do what we did for a couple of recent, we did it for David and we did it for Alyssa, where we printed it on nice paper and then,
Yeah.
and then had it framed
All right,
for each of them. And what I have here is what the language that could be used
Right.
for each one.
okay, all right,
And that was the question, should we do all three at once? With one statement, or should we do an individual thing?
I think it should be individual, but I mean, you could, if you're gonna be, I think you should do it
Yeah.
individually.
So what I was thinking of doing, if we agree on this or similar language, is work each one of these up. Frame it if you think that would be appropriate. And then, I'm gonna ask Ben Coakley, who's chair of the Water District Committee, to do the presentation at the picnic.
I like that idea. I mean,
Really? I mean, I didn't mean it,
Although-
I didn't mean it to your statement, but I
Except that
just
the
wonder,
town
this
board
is coming from the town board. I
they-
think
Yeah.
maybe the supervisor should be doing it with Ben, maybe.
Well, with
I
that,
mean-
yeah.
I mean, how long has Ben been there?
Well, it's been chaired the group for over a year, I think.
A year?
Yeah.
We're talking, I don't know. I think it should be either
He- he
you
can sh-
or,
You can
or
say
both.
it, he can shake their hand.
yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
um,
I'm sure Ben will be okay either way.
Yeah, yeah,
But anyway, but the main point here is I think it would be nice to have the town board, acknowledge their service. and,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could get a couple other suggestions for, like Marge, it was only 15 years, really, I thought it was.
It seemed like,
that.
didn't it? Yes.
But.
Well, I asked
Maybe
Laura.
somebody
but-
like Merrill or so, could think of another sentence or something.
Yeah, possibly.
Because Todd's is a little bigger than
Yeah,
Marge's.
yeah.
Mean more writing.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but a little bit, yeah.
Couple spoon,
Mhm.
But,
But I mean, that's the thing, is if with more time, you could ask around,
yeah,
you could ask Todd for a statement about Marge, and you could add, you
yeah.
could ask Laura about other things to say about Carl, this.
Oh, no, I don't think you want to.
And I spoke to Laura about this earlier, it was really kind of sad that we didn't do something more for Carl at the time, but
No.
he wasn't comfortable, and neither were,
Yeah.
and nor was anybody else willing to do it because of the getting together when the
Yeah.
midst of COVID,
No,
so it kind of didn't happen,
I'd like to see us do it more regularly. I mean, a lot of people have come and gone and as far as I'm concerned, without really much recognition.
Mhm. Um, I've tried to make it a point
Yeah,
when we've got people who, served long and well to
yeah.
acknowledge their service. So, so what's your pleasure? Do you want to, you willing to go with
So we
this?
get a
or-
gift or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Can we vote now?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're okay with this language, we could just go with it.
I kind of like the idea of maybe at least running it by. I didn't even think about that, running it by anybody on the,
Somebody else who's been there for a while.
Yeah.
Working with them.
Yeah.
somebody who might have some little,
I mean, Todd might have,
Additional
you know,
insight.
a little thing that would be fun to see in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
We can vote on this as is.
As
our
doing
statement.
it and
This
having-
doesn't mean
yeah.
that this has to be on the papers
yeah.
that are, presented to them that are
Okay.
framed. That can be changed.
That sounds good.
It doesn't mean that this has to be
Right.
this word.
It's, right,
So
I
we
like
can-
the idea of
we can do
doing,
this as approving that, thank you for what we
Right.
know at this point in time, so.
right,
I move we, what the hell are we voting on?
well, it would be.
I
a
mean,
resolution.
we, approve this appreciation statements for the West Danby Water District retirees.
Second,
Okay. So my only question is, how are these going to be used if not, if this isn't what's going to be in?
They, we can, send it to them as separately from the board, but it depends on how it comes up. If it's very similar in the board, then we don't have to do it. If they come out dramatically differently from the people on the West Danby Water District that have been involved with it more often,
Mhm,
then we should let them say it, and we can just send them this.
mhm. Well, I mean, they could also,
mean,
might
maybe-
also want to do their own thing, because as a
Right.
committee, they
I mean, they've
started
got
out.
a
to
meeting
be
coming
Carl.
up, right?
What's that?
When's their meeting? It got changed.
Yeah, it got changed. It would have been Wednesday, but it's going to be next Wednesday
know.
instead. It's still
Oh.
time,
No, I know. But maybe,
if I get
maybe-
the heads up about it before.
well, maybe
Right.
they could get a copy of this and just say, be thinking about things, and maybe
Yeah.
at that meeting,
Yeah,
if they make any suggestions so that it could be written up and put into a frame.
Mhm.
Um,
how about if we, put it out for them for review?
Yeah.
And, well, so in my mind, there's only two things here. One would be to say, let other people put in, and then somehow it gets decided what gets actually
Right,
framed.
right,
And then we could delegate to that to like Catherine, who's
Yeah.
really good at,
Yeah.
saying things well.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go with it, or we could bring it back to the board for review and final approval.
And maybe it could be, you know, we got it to them beforehand,
Right.
whoever goes to that meeting. I know I've got a 3 o'clock meeting that day. I don't know if I can.
I
get out
think
by
it's probably
5.
my turn again.
It's my turn, but let me see what time my meeting's gonna get out.
That may
But
be like,
You
but
could
maybe
just write-
whoever goes
Right.
can, I could come a little late.
Yeah,
But
if you wanna
could
go,
sort
yeah.
of get the comments.
yeah,
put it right,
well, I could put it out to them.
put it out
Yeah.
before that. and
Yeah,
let them
so that they
send
can think
something
about it
back,
before the
right.
meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Pat moved that we
Do it.
start with this.
Yeah,
Can we add to it the mechanism for finalizing it? Like either give Catherine permission to finalize it, or else Catherine permission to bring something back to the board for,
I can bring
we
it
have,
back.
time. Would it come, would it?
it won't come back till the 19th, which is kind of close, but.
I can, okay,
We can send it around.
and if we're approving it in general,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah,
Yeah,
then it can be modified if we just say with modifications from, if,
Yeah.
if any modifications that come from the West Danby folks to
Yeah.
add to it.
okay,
Does that work?
yeah.
is that okay? All right, so, starting with this, with modifications, if any,
Yeah.
from others.
Yeah,
Okay. Got that, Mariah?
Oh, yeah, I got it all.
Great. So I guess we're ready for a vote.
I think she sounded sarcastic.
Very good. Connors,
Yes.
Hunter,
yep,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yeah,
there, I think.
Thank you.
who started that? Next up, the CAC secretary. We have, what, 10? There were 2 more today.
Okay.
That when Laura went back and looked, she found that in the first batch, there were 2 more that she hadn't noticed before. So there are now 10 applicants for this at the list. The most recent addition was Kristen McCarthy and Justin Sardina. But there are some excellent candidates here and some, less excellent candidates. So I don't think it's reasonable to ask all these people to come to a CAC meeting. So I think there ought to be a
More than
process
them than we-
for picking out the most promising ones and inviting them. Yeah, are you still willing to take notes for the upcoming one?
Yes,
Yeah. So that will buy us time to have them come, take a night with the group.
Okay, well, could
And
we have a
vice versa.
small committee to just look at them, maybe 2 or 3 people?
Yeah,
I'd be willing to help. And Catherine's on the CAC,
right.
so. Do we
Just
just
take
need
a
2
look through.
people or?
I've gone through and made some notes, so I can give it to you.
Ah,
perfect.
okay.
I couldn't open the zip ones,
Mhm.
I couldn't open any of the zip ones.
right? I couldn't
You
either.
couldn't either?
No,
You know,
somehow
because
Pat
it's
did.
interesting, because, Laura sent me,
Could,
You
you
know-
could open the zip ones?
I downloaded everything and I opened everything.
You downloaded it to
I
do it.
didn't attempt to open it online. I downloaded it. I don't want
Yeah,
to spend the
it-
time opening it online.
I didn't want to download a million
download
things on my
anything.
computer, which was part of that download part.
it's a lot of stuff.
When they're zipped, it doesn't have actually that much time and space.
Well, I couldn't get them to,
I couldn't even,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't.
I couldn't see them at all.
I didn't try, because I had the original. The thing is, Laura sent them in batches. For any one person, there was
Who's
like,
got the hard copy?
there was the application
I
and the
have hard
resume
copies of
and.
everything,
You've got the hard copy of all of them, including the 2 new
except the
ones?
last 2. No, I don't have that.
I might have the last 2, but
So
some of them
maybe
I
we
could
can
have.
I didn't make hard copies of them. I've got the original electronic copy.
Yeah, but
I don't mind
copies-
making hard copies of all of them and distributing to you guys.
I have,
If we just had 2
BB.
copies of, if you've got some?
I've got
or-
2, yeah, I might
you-
have the
you've
2
only
that
got
you
2 new
don't have.
ones.
I have the first 8.
Yeah, that's everybody, but
Copies here, we can just
First
make
aid,
copies.
so never mind, we can make copies of what we have here. Okay.
Yeah, we're missing
Okay.
Kristen.
Just let me
Make
know.
I'll make copies before we leave.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
All right, so,
so everybody wants to look at them, and then make comments to Kathy?
yeah,
Okay, committee of one?
Yeah.
No.
well,
I
I'll
think-
help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
Leslie said, yeah.
okay. Um. Well, okay, so, so
And then
Leslie,
we-
so I'm willing to say, you, on behalf of the board, you will pick out the top candidates, and request that they attend. And then that'll give a chance for the CAC to weigh in, and then at the next meeting, we can review those in light of the CAC's comments and make the decision as to who to appoint.
The CIC meeting's next week, right?
Yes. Week from
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Week from tomorrow.
You wanna
Oh,
minutes?
a week from.
yeah,
Yeah.
and at the end of the meeting, I'll go copy them.
Listen, I don't have some of them. I didn't print all the extra pages. I printed these two parts, which I thought were pretty good. But we can get the rest.
So all of the.
Geez,
so
I'm
us-
surprised there are so many.
Me
I
too.
know.
Well, the first time we did it, we thought we had three, it turned out we had five. And we opened it, when, Ann Klingensmith said that Phoebe Shalloway, had expressed interest and was an
Right.
outstanding candidate for the position. So in order to allow her to apply, we reposted it. And when we reposted it, we got another bunch of people applying, and it was, in my opinion, much better than the first batch that applied. So it was like, all of a sudden, we have all kinds of good candidates for this position. There's several really strong candidates, I think.
Yeah, for a little job.
Yeah. So, and,
Do we have a job description?
not really. I mean, it's just, that we don't have a job description for what's on the county's system is, clerk typist, which is what we use for the secretaries for the CAC and the BZA and the planning board. And
I can
for-
email you the notes that we put in to each job, what it would entail.
That's
They're
right,
very,
no-
very short blurbs saying, this job is, you have to attend night meetings, prepare minutes. Just some very short things, but I'll type them up and send them along so that's what people were responding to.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And, I spoke with Leslie about this, but haven't mentioned to anybody else. As a member of the CAC, it's become apparent that the group could stand some support in getting their work done. And, Greg has provided some support, but the planner's time is valuable. And if we can have somebody at a lower pay grade, do some of it, it would be nice. When Alyssa was with us, she provided support for the planner, in addition to being secretary to the planning board. And she helped develop the forms and stuff for handling the actions by the board, and she did help with the mailings and getting the packets
Do you have a
out.
list of those things? I mean, are these things that you're interested in having added to this job
No,
description?
not for the CAC, but
No.
what I am interested
Planning
in
board.
potentially doing with the CAC is providing support for the easement process.
Right.
We have
Do we
people
have
who
a
are,
description of what that would look like? I mean,
yeah, because the group has done that much. The group has worked out, how we think it ought to be done. It's just having trouble getting volunteers to actually do it. The hard part is having somebody be the point person for easement monitoring, but also just for keeping track of, the easements, the process of crafting the easements and filing them is a secretarial function, really. Yeah. And,
I mean, once the people who are wanting to have an easement, it's their decision what they want or not, but you're talking about the paperwork that,
yeah, I'm talking about, the keeping track of it, processing the paperwork.
And do we have this in the budget?
Well,
Well, that will require a budget change.
I don't know, because it depends on how much time gets spent at it, you know, we're not talking a lot of time, we're just doing expanding the scope a little bit of what. And you know, as far as that, the budgetary component goes, it depends a lot on the person, how much time they spend doing the minutes.
Right?
You know, one person will do minutes in an hour, another person might take 6
Right,
hours,
right.
you know. then-
I think it would be nice to have the CAC come up with which I assume would be sort of a short list of additional things besides minute taking that they'd like to see because I mean, what I'm hearing is that it sounds like support for the members of the CAC to do their stuff, to get the work done.
Yeah, essentially.
Like, this is, so
Coordinating
is that
the,
managing a calendar or, what, but I think it needs to be written down. We can't just, you know,
The process of the easements is sort of written out.
Right,
I think you're
right.
talking about
I'm talking monitoring mostly.
well, that's.
yeah, monitoring, yeah.
Once, you know, once you have an
Like it's
information,
time to
monitor
monitor
them.
this one or this one.
Yeah,
or the-
And, you know,
So-
making sure that, you know, people sign up to do the monitoring, but getting somebody to, you know, ride them to make sure that they do it in a timely way, that the reports get filled out, and then they get to have somebody to hand it in to keep track of them, file
Right.
them, you know, and just make sure that the
Okay.
process unfolds as it should. Nobody in the group was willing to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
every time we think we have somebody that it's
Yeah,
not.
it
But
doesn't
the
work
other
out.
part is getting the things properly filed in the, for the web and for the document filing.
Yeah, which of course
That's
Mariah has, and, you know, town clerks have done that for us in the
Yeah.
past, and I'm sure Mariah would be willing to do it as well. But,
Okay, I mean, it would be helpful to have a little
yeah, same thing with, you know, getting,
paragraph
the-
about what,
right,
Pull it
getting things on the website. that the
putting things on
CAC
the website?
Yeah.
Well,
CAC
no, they need to get things to the town clerk's office to get them on the website.
Okay,
So you don't want them messing with it directly.
no.
Better not.
No, that's a pretty steep learning curve.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we did
Compile
have
easement materials.
we did have Ann volunteering to help organize the materials internally on what was Work Drive and is now Teams.
mhm.
And that's okay, you know.
Yeah, should be good to do.
Right,
yeah.
but anyway, you know, the secretary's job need not be limited just to minutes, is what I'm saying.
Okay, we need to have some clarity about that.
Yeah, but, you know, somebody coming into that job, it'd be good to have that in the back of our minds at least. You know, having to potentially do more than just take minutes.
Well, the other way to find out is to ask, if we could get Betsy to outline some of the things that she did. Didn't she do some of that?
She did a bunch of other stuff, but it
Yeah.
was mostly on a volunteer basis.
Right, but if she would
Yeah,
share that, that's what we're talking about. She volunteered to do it if she,
Yeah, she might be a good one to, maybe she
Ask.
could draft a little
yeah.
but she-
list of things that
Right,
somebody could do.
and well, that's something the board, the committee, the council could take up. is that,
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. All right. It's just, it's gonna be hard to interview people
I know,
unless we have
Right.
specific,
well, we
duties
should,
and-
well, that's what I say, it'd be nice to be upfront about the possibility of the job entailing more than just minutes.
That's
That's
not
great.
helpful. If you want to be
Okay.
helpful,
we'll figure
you
it
want to
out.
say
What
that is.
additional
And
stuff?
that's what Leslie was looking.
Yeah, yeah.
Do.
Okay,
Well, easement monitoring assistance would be something I would say is a clear need.
okay.
And if I were, well, I mean, some of these people have specific interest in the work of the CAC. And knowing that there's some receptivity to, you know, more than just being a minute taker for the group, this might make the job prospect more interesting to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a process. Leslie and Catherine will, review and pick out the select, I don't know, 3, 4 people to, ask to come to the meeting.
Well, I will think, I think we should talk to Betsy and see if Betsy. can
Yeah, I
help
think,
us out.
no, I think that's a good idea.
No action.
There's a couple
required,
other
right?
people who've done a lot of work recently. It might be worthwhile asking Brittany,
Mhm.
because she did her whole thing and knows, she did it.
As far as the
Right.
evening process goes.
But yeah,
Who's that?
Brittany
Brittany
Stein, yeah,
Vidal, yeah.
Stein. Yeah.
Right.
All right, moving along.
Okay, where are we? Oh, speed limit,
What'd you just say?
speed limit.
Oh, speed
Oh,
limits.
speed limit. Okay, well,
In the midst of some of the people in our Zoom audience would have been present last month had they been able to, but we lost power in the midst of the storm. And consequently, they didn't get to hear our discussion of what happened to Rhonda's petition for South Danby Road. Although you could have read about it in the Danby Town News, because I wrote it up. But the upshot was that we were going to revisit, there exists a list of previous requests, and we're going to revisit the list with an eye to, creating a new request of the county, and consequently and thereafter with the state DOT to lower speed limits on some of our roads. Leslie reported to me that she had a conversation with Jack and with Keith about what they thought would be the most
sick at the time.
good prospects for most, where the greatest need was for speed limit reductions. And if you'd like to report to the rest of the group here gathered and
Well, I dug all this stuff out and I can send everybody a copy. But I found the list
Mhm.
that we had approved back in 2016 of the groups of roads that highway and at the time the board thought needed to have speed limit and reduced or changed.
right, and only the first group got submitted, right?
No, the first, well, this has been a problem. Things come up and there's like emergencies or we gotta clear, the developments along 96B. I mean, that sort of cropped up as being, we gotta do something about that now. And they had to do when things were getting repaved and delivery trucks were speeding in the, Old Town Village. And
Mhm.
so some things did get pulled out that weren't on our
Original.
list.
Mhm.
And in looking at the list, and I'll send it to everybody, looking at the list, some of it just doesn't make any sense anymore. Things have changed.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, worrying about the speed limit on LaRue Road or Heisey Road, that's not a priority, right? At least right now.
Mhm.
And at the time, in 2016, maybe there was concern about the dirt roads and people driving fast and wearing them out. And so, but I think it's more now, people are concerned about safety and speeding and where there's some congested residential sections and stuff. So, another thing that, the highways, paid attention to are the cut throughs, it's the,
Yeah,
some of the roads, it's like a dead end or it doesn't really go anywhere. But the roads that people take off in 96B to get to Cornell or to
Commuter
get to
routes.
IC.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, the thought was to maybe scrap this, and I wish if Keith were here, he could, he would be like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Heisey Road, and
Right.
anyway, Miller Road has been identified as a problem, both east and west,
Mhm.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Not, town board gets complaints, highway gets a lot of complaints. And it is
If you-
one of the major
That's good.
cut throughs.
That's
And
right.
it's not people who live there, it's people who drive through to get to work, and they do it 2 times a day.
Mhm.
There are also roads that Stork uses
Yeah,
Miller a
King,
lot.
King gets used a lot. for the
yeah,
very same
Well,
King, yeah.
so, yeah, anyway, the suggestion was for the first group that
To be
we,
submitted.
that we
Right.
submit for was to, think about East Miller, West King, West Jersey. And we had asked at one time to move the southbound 96B 40-mile-an-hour sign to the north side of East Miller Road.
East Miller Road, right.
And that never got done. I don't know where it ended up, but that's like, we really need to do that. So that was thought of as maybe being a good first clump. And the second clump, highway, was thinking maybe let's revisit. We've already done it before, but do it again. South Danby Road and some issues with West Danby on the 9634
Mhm.
road, which is highways finding really dangerous to plow.
Mhm.
So so those were the thoughts anyway, out of I don't know, it was like a 4-hour meeting.
Mhm.
And so other suggestions that have been made, which are kind of interesting that we might want to think about, are 30-mile-an-hour speed limits in residential sections of things like Michigan Hollow, Bald Hill, Gunderman, and Hornbrook.
Mhm.
Comfort
Mhm.
Road has been changed to 35, and then you get to Gunderman and you can go what, 45? I'm thinking, 40 or whatever. But so that was another sort of thing to be thinking about, for current issues. And since COVID, there've been a lot of people are walking on the roads, people are running on the roads, people are walking their dogs. Kids, I've now a couple times seen kids on bicycles playing in the middle of the road. I'm Gunderman and Nelson, so it's,
To me, it's bizarre that Station Road is posted 35 miles an hour once you get past the railroad track and coming this way.
yeah,
If you go the other direction, it's 55 from the railroad tracks up at the 34,
try going 55 on that, you deserve what you get. But, all our roads are, if they aren't posted, they're 55 miles an
55
hour.
miles an hour.
And I still feel like trying to come up with a document we could send the state to ask them to just have a town speed limit. Where in town, these guys that like to drive fast, where in town do you feel okay driving 55 miles an hour? Maybe there are some roads, but I've never been on.
West
but-
King is like that. Once you
Yeah.
pass the 40 mile after the park, it's
Oh,
55.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so those are the thoughts, and I'll send this out. And so we can
So, yeah.
think about it next,
You wanna
maybe bring it up next
Bring it up
meeting.
next time?
Yeah,
Okay.
that way maybe Keith, if he had anything, if he'll feel better, maybe he'll have something to add.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
How do, Pat?
I
Yeah,
agree. I
how-
think
how-
that sounds like a good way to do it. To look at that from the perspective of folk cut throughs in neighborhoods. So I
Mhm.
think it's a good idea.
Yeah,
Me too. I agree.
South Danby Road as an example is also sort of is a cut
Yeah.
through from Spencer.
Yeah, it's a commuter route.
yeah,
basically.
It's, yeah,
Mhm.
but these other roads have been sort of on the list for a long time.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
Anyway, that's the poop. I'll send that out. Looking at copies. Okay.
So we'll consider
Yeah,
essentially the list that you and Keith and Jack came up with, next time.
okay.
Yeah, that seems to me that would also be, one of the other advantages of that is the condition of those roads.
Yeah.
And it's, and traffic, fast traffic and the edges of the roads, I think it's really, it costs us more money in maintenance and fixing.
Mhm.
And just because we asked doesn't mean we'll get it,
No, this is
Um,
true, but
but, and I don't know what happened to that night moving the sign for 96B. I don't know what happened to that.
Well, if we did
I
something,
thought it, I could have sworn it was authorized and that we'd done it. But
I mean,
I think we should
nobody,
do it at the other end of the
nobody-
town too, move it down so that when people get up to, before Michigan Hollow, where there's the curve,
yeah,
you
Yeah,
know,
the
it's like there's
curves, yeah.
no, all of a sudden it's boom, and you're, you know,
you got the sign and then the curve right at the same place.
yeah.
They will do that. I already talked to them about it.
have you?
Did
Uh,
you say please?
Would you identify who was speaking from the floor?
Say what?
Zach,
You want to entertain comment?
People can always come to the meeting.
Rhonda would like to comment. Rhonda, you have a comment?
Yes, I do. I just object to your approach. And that's because you specifically required the residents of South Danby Road to come up with a petition, which was a lot of work. And I don't see any petition from any of the other roads. And so I would ask you to sort of switch things around. You have a petition from us, and I would like to see you address it because the people have expressly stated that they want the speed limit lowered. Whereas I don't understand why you haven't asked the people on Miller Road or King Road or wherever to sign a petition. And that needs to be done. If you're going to require us to do a petition, really require us, because you said you would not consider it unless we presented you with a
Oh, that's not
petition.
true. That's not true.
It
We
is
didn't-
true.
we didn't- No, it's
Not
not.
true.
It's
No,
true.
it
It's not required.
State
It's helpful.
specifically-
It's
The state,
helpful.
the state, and most road, not all, but most road, we didn't get petitions for the developments. There are many that we didn't get petitions for. We got petitions for Leeb Road area, Comfort Road, Troy Road, but as far as I know.
Then
we
those
didn't-
should be dealt with first. The
They
petitions.
already got dealt with. So, well, whatever, Rhonda, we don't require, it's helpful to the state to get petitions. It's not a requirement. And it's not like that petition is gonna be lost anywhere. It will, whenever, South Danby Road gets pushed into the state, then that petition will go with it.
The only question I'm asking you, how long can the list of requests be when in batch?
They preferred at the time, like 4 roads. That might have changed. That was a long time ago,
Yeah,
so
we
they
could
might
check
have
that,
changed.
and maybe we can get
But,
more on.
well, we got 5 on this time.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do what Highway was interested in doing.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I mean, we can,
But I mean, as you say, I mean, there's
we
not a
had
road.
4 or 5 on our original
Yeah,
list,
there's not a road in town where people wouldn't rather
is-
the
I
speed
know.
limit be lower than what it is.
for most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 55 on my road is pretty scary.
Yeah, yeah. Mine too. Okay, did you want to say something, Ted?
You have to stop doing that.
I was listening to your discussion. It's very interesting. I'm in favor of moving forward with this, no problem with that. But I want to remind you what happened in the case of the Comfort Road re-speed limiting, which was prompted by a petition. The state will certainly read what you are asking them to do, but in the end, they will decide what they want. And in the case of Comfort Road, they did not, I do not think they gave us what we asked for, but they also reevaluated the rest of Comfort Road, which I'm
Right.
not saying they're wrong, but it was unexpected.
Yep.
So
Yes,
be,
there are, yeah,
be careful in
they
what you
certainly
wish
do
for.
what they want, yes, yeah. And their evaluation criteria are often
Are very
different than
different
what
from
we,
yours.
what
Yeah,
we would use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, line of sight. And
Yeah, well,
line of
they look
sight
at- they look
doesn't
at it
They
from
usually
look at how
exist.
comfortable they are
They-
driving at
right.
certain speed on the road and,
Yeah.
and the percentage of.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
They look at
so
the condition
beware-
of the road and what, how fast you can safely go.
And the general.
But beware of what you asked for. You might get it.
So let's, anyway,
Right,
okay.
but
So
anyway,
I'll send this out.
we can't, and I like your idea, Leslie, which, I mean, there's nothing, the Association of Towns been asking that we have, that the towns be granted permission for a long time, but,
Well,
it doesn't hurt for us to point out that we would like to be able to
it'd be
do
nice
it.
to have, it'd be nice to do that if Highway was interested in it. Right now, Highway's not it's, you know, it can be a liability. You know, if the state sets a speed limit and there are problems, it's not the town's
Yeah,
problem.
We're better
Really,
off that way.
it's the state's, you know, so I think, you know, it's a double-edged sword.
well, yeah, I mean, but, you know, I mean, to, the idea that the state is, that there's a lower liability associated with the states making the determination, when the state starting place is the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit in places like, you know, the residential neighborhoods or something.
Yeah.
If they're gonna be in the liability, it ought to be, you know, why isn't the state liable for accidents in those places? Because the
Right.
speed limit is ridiculously high. You know,
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, we asked for, when we asked for Nelson Road, which they decided not just to lower the speed limit from 96B to Ridgecrest, they were like, oh, it needs to be lower all the way to Troy. Which was, you know, not something we asked for, but it's all right.
Yeah,
Because that's so sort of high density residential pretty
Yeah.
much, but we at the same time had asked for the speed limit on 96B to be lowered because of the school around the end of the Nelson Road
mhm,
intersection, which has been a problem recently. Well, somebody just died,
really?
at that intersection. Yeah. Ray Mayo.
I didn't realize that was what happened.
Yeah, I mean, well, no, who knows? You know, the reason why it happened is gone with him.
Mhm.
But there is an issue that intersection is sort of strange, and we've got people coming in the morning, dropping off kids and picking them up in the afternoon, and, you know, trucks, and there's the farm there, so we got deliveries on Saturday, and I mean,
Yeah.
so it's, and there's, you know, a hill, it's.
Well, it makes sense for
It's
Nelson.
not,
Is it
but we
Nelson?
didn't get, they said no.
Yeah, you're talking about Nelson, not
No, 96B,
96B.
Yeah,
like between, almost sort of between Comfort
Yeah,
and,
they're very reluctant to lower
Old
the
Town.
limit on the state highway.
well, no, we just had somebody die.
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
yeah.
And the day before that, I pulled out in front of, well, I didn't pull out, but I started to pull out in front of a car that was coming
Mhm.
that I didn't see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I don't, you know, it just,
I mean, that happens
Anyway.
a lot at my intersection, because
you probably just hear screeches all day
you
long.
look and there's nobody there and you pull out and they're
Right,
on your
you're right
tail.
there.
Right,
So they come
I-
whipping
yeah.
around the corner.
Yeah,
it
anyway.
happens a lot.
So
of
we'll
places.
just
Yeah.
keep plugging away with this. I mean, it's just like we'll maybe try and come up with another list, but it doesn't make sense to come up with the 4 clumps that we came up with in 2016, because
Yeah,
we should just come up with a couple at a time, but, and try and deal with them.
yeah. Okay, well, what you propose sounds like a reasonable, to me anyway, way to proceed. So we'll deal with it next time.
Okay.
Okay, other items for next time?
Yeah, it was,
We were hoping to
equipment
get to-
disposal,
Yeah, and also the email
that's
policy.
almost done.
We just got a note from Scott. probably
Oh,
not-
email and,
We agreed that we would change the email policy, but we haven't yet done it. So
No.
as
Yeah.
of right now, our policy remains the same, which is everybody ought to have one.
yeah, well,
So, that committee was you and me and Mariah.
yeah,
So we should get that done.
Yep.
Mm.
Okay, so email and, equipment disposal,
Mhm,
surplus equipment. disposal.
right.
Sometime wouldn't it be nice if we could revisit some of those zoning changes?
I
that we've
know.
been thinking
Well,
about?
the event, special event law, you're.
That's separate.
That'll be the next, right, but then the other zoning change.
Yeah, the other zoning
Yeah.
changes. things.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a few that would really make a big difference in the,
Yeah,
right.
some of the,
I'd like to see us dealing with some of those too.
right?
I'd like to see us dealing with those too.
Yeah. Would it help if I wrote some things up that would hand in to you?
yeah.
Okay.
You already sort of wrote one up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did, we had a list of it.
Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
You know, we didn't
Yeah,
pursue them.
Because they were a little, they ended up, we all were talking a lot about it and it was like so much talk about it, we just said, oh, well,
Yeah,
and wait.
okay.
And that's what happened. Yeah, oh, well, then here we
Yeah.
are.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be very happy to see us deal with those. It says that there's so many things that are sort of pressing that it kind of moved them back from the back burner.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Are we good?
Okay. The ARPA,
We also at this point should be embarking on our budget process for,
yeah.
Working on that now, guys, getting the budget worksheets ready.
Rock
Oh,
on.
good.
That ready, looking at what we can do for transfers, getting the working copies ready to to get out to the departments.
yeah. So we can initiate that process even though we haven't yet closed the books on 2023.
I know,
Yeah.
we're going, we gotta keep it all rolling.
Because we need that to have our the status of the fund balance.
I can get that for you. At any rate,
I know you're working on it.
even if it's not formally, I could give you that tomorrow.
Yeah, rough idea anyway.
Or you better, yes,
Yeah,
right
Okay.
on. Way I keep these numbers too.
They're put together with all the things on single person.
I'll put the clips back on.
okay.
I can't copy them with clips on.
With that, meeting is adjourned. Thank you
Put
for
the clips
attending.
right back on. We're all back to back. Wow. That was a lot.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.